be a Steelers, consider others before you consider yourself. To protect your brother, even from himself. To give support at your own expense. And when wearing the black and gold suit of armor, make sure nobody desecrates it, disrespects it. Most importantly, we ourselves don't dishonor it. From previous legends who have donned the black and gold. These virtues I learned while playing for the Steelers are what make the legacy of the black and gold timeless. They are passed down in the locker room from the steel curtain to anyone who valiantly wears the black and gold. Creating a brotherhood that is deeper than money, business, and winning. To be a Steelers, consider others before you consider yourself. This is our culture, Steeler culture.
Now, here are your hosts, Rob and Dan, the Steel Twins.
Steelers Nation, how are you doing on this fine Friday night? And thank you kindly for tuning back into the channel for yet another edition of the Steeler Culture Podcast, where, as always, we break down Pittsburgh Steelers football. And today, guys, we will be discussing the Week 8 Sunday Night Football matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Green Bay Packers, as, of course, Aaron Rodgers will be playing versus the Packers for the very first time since being traded away to the Jets. This will be A-Rod's first time going up against Green Bay. And quite honestly, for Sunday night, if he were to win versus his former team, he will be the 5th quarterback in NFL history to beat all 32 teams.
Yes, he would pair with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and of course his own teacher, his former teacher, Brett Favre.
Quite the list.
He could be number 5. He will be going up against his own student in Jordan Love. I don't know how the Packers keep doing it. We need to find their recipe for success, because it seems like the Steelers' way of finding success with all these head coaches. How the hell do the Packers do it with the quarterbacks?
They took a page out of their own playbook. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. They thought of the future, and they found that in Jordan Love. They were very patient with him, as was he, sitting on the bench and learning from one of the greatest of all time in A-Rod. And yeah, I mean, Green Bay's set for another 15 freaking years.
If Jordan Love keeps it up, or at this rate, I don't know, man, because the Packers are a good football team. Let's not kid around. The Packers are a good football team, and they have a high potential this season. And furthermore, because their team is incredibly young.
Very young, a lot of pedigree on both sides of the football, and a lot of investment. Money-wise, draft capital-wise, again, the pedigree is right there. Like, you look at that roster up and down on paper, it's one of the more talented teams in the NFL.
But when it comes to the Green Bay Packers this season, in my personal opinion, y'all might think differently. And does this ultimately really matter when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers? No. But overall, in my opinion, in regards to the Green Bay Packers, I don't think they're as good as what they're advertised to be or what people are saying they are supposed to be. They're not as good as what the media portrays them to be. They're not the Super Bowl contenders or the Super Bowl favorites, whatever, that they were projected to be after getting Micah Parsons. I just don't see that in them, at least not yet. They had a good first 2 weeks, and then it seems like most of their team, offensively and defensively, comes out pretty flat. I feel like their offense has so much more potential to be so much more explosive, and I don't know if it's the play calling. I don't know if it's the play from Jordan Love. Either way, a lot of what their offense does leaves a lot to be desired.
No, and I said after the whole Micah Parsons trade and whatnot, and that was a lot of momentum and a lot of hype, when the Packers traded for Parsons, and rightfully so. And Parsons has been just as advertised after being given that big contract by Green Bay, and he's already 5.5 sacks into the season.
3 of them last week versus the Cardinals.
Big time. I mean, like, they still have a lot of momentum, and they are a very hyped football team. But I have looked over the past number of games that they have played. I mean, their only loss so far has been to the Browns that were led by Joe Flacco, and he's no longer there.
Right.
The next week they tied with the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. That was a crazy game, but they tied with the Cowboys when they could have won that by many, many other occasions. And then last week they won against Arizona, and Arizona gave them a fight. I don't want to take anything away from Arizona, but Arizona, they're on a bye week this week, but before that they are now on 5 straight losses. They are down to their backup quarterback in Jacoby Brissett and their 4th-string running back.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals took the Packers to the limit. The Packers won. They escaped with victory. But still, I mean, like, it goes to show, like, maybe the Packers aren't as great of a team as they look on paper.
And that's my assessment as well. Is I just don't think the Packers are all that. Are they good? Yes. Are they going to make the playoffs? Absolutely. Will they be contenders for the Super Bowl? Potentially this year. Credit to Matt LaFleur. Ever since he's been head coach, he's kept the Packers in contention. A lot of that had to do with Aaron Rodgers still being in his prime and winning MVP while Matt LaFleur first started his days in Green Bay. But even still, with Jordan Love leading the charge since A-Rod was traded, LaFleur and crew have been able to still keep them in contention and still showcase some future potential that maybe down the line with the whole Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur connection, maybe they can finally bring one back to Green Bay. However, this year, to start off, there's still a ton of football left. Anything can happen. But to start off, I just don't see them as all that. However, again, this is the Pittsburgh Steelers we're talking about. Throw all that out the window. What our opinion is on the Packers right now. I'm sure as the season goes, they're only going to advance because they can only do so, right? They have too much talent not to. Against the Steelers, our opinion is thrown out the window because this is the Steelers we're talking about. Literally, you can't underestimate nobody.
No, you can't. I mean, it was obvious they did versus the Cincinnati Bengals Thursday Night Football on a short week.
Yeah.
We all saw and witnessed what happened, especially on the defense side of the ball.
The defense was 100% underwhelming and a disappointing factor of that loss versus the Bengals last Thursday night.
Just bad.
Just bad. And they're going up against a Packers offense that isn't as explosive as I thought they'd be because you look at their offense. When fully healthy, Jordan Love, I think, can sling the football. He needs to minimize the mistakes and turnovers, but he can sling the football for sure.
And he's worked on that over the past number of years. You've seen that. Like, I remember last time we faced the Packers, which we won in Heinz Field, Jordan Love, he was still, trying to get familiar with, being the starting quarterback and with the offense and whatnot. He was still growing.
Yeah.
I actually remember after that game, because I think it was week 10 of the 2023 season, after that game, Love really started to minimize the turnovers. So you see he's still progressing and he's still learning from that. So I'll give Jordan Love that.
Yeah, for sure. But you look at their weapons. Tucker Kraft is a great tight end. He's a great tight end and someone we definitely got to scheme for because he's a field stretcher. He's somebody that can take the ball and run with it up the field anytime.
As a matter of fact, he leads their team in receiving yards. I think he's tied with touchdowns with Romeo Doubs, who's another good target for them. But Tucker Kraft is somebody that I am actually concerned about with the defense going up against because for a number of years, Steelers can't cover tight ends. They can't stop them.
No, the middle of the field's always been exposed. Like you mentioned, Romeo Doubs, great receiver.
And remember all the trade talks between Romeo Doubs of like, Green Bay could be looking to trade him. He could be on the trade market and whatnot. And, of course, the Steelers were one of the names brought up and still are to this day. But then Matt LaFleur said himself, no, we're not trading away Dobbs.
No.
And it's obviously showing why they have not traded him away.
No, and you also mentioned Matthew Golden is their number 1 pick in the first round. They finally drafted a receiver for the first time in 20-something years. They drafted a wide receiver. He has yet to get a touchdown. I'm still waiting for his big breakout game. Could that be this week? I hope not.
I hope
Because
not.
Matthew Golden, bro, this is what I mean when I don't think the Packers are as explosive as they should be. Because Matthew Golden, coming out of Texas, was probably one of the most explosive receivers out of this past draft class. He's speedy. He's lengthy. Great hands. He's a route technician. You got to watch for him. His speed is not something to underestimate.
No.
And I don't think they're giving him the ball enough. And then, Dontavian Wicks, who's going to be out for this game. He won't be playing. But he's a field stretcher as well. He's a deep threat. I think when they're fully healthy, they have enough targets that they can throw the ball with some serious confidence and they can actually put some damage against any opposing defense. They just don't do it as much as they should. I don't know why. Maybe they don't trust Love enough. Maybe they're afraid he's going to make the mistakes that he's made in previous years. Maybe it's the whole Matt LaFleur scheme or his play calling. I think his play calling has been a little bit underwhelming or a little too conservative. However, when you got a guy like Josh Jacobs running the rock, who's a great running back,
Yes.
top 10, arguably top 5 running back in the league, I can see why you want to give him the football.
Yeah, and we all know what he's done in his time with the Raiders. He spent the first 5 years with the Raiders, signed a big money contract with the Packers, and fantastic season, fantastic running back is Jacobs. He's going to be a handful. I mean, there's a reason why he's one of the top backs in the NFL, just good at rushing the football. He's good with carrying the football. He doesn't really turn over the ball a lot. Just a trucker of a runner. He's going to be a handful. He's not going to be easy to stop.
No, considering we allowed Chase Brown, of all people, who found little to no success, not even any little, minimal success all season, and then Chase Brown had over 100 yards.
108 yards off 11 carries on Thursday Night Football.
And now we're going up against Josh Jacobs, who's been absolutely worth every single dime, every single penny since signing that big contract with the Packers just last season.
Matter of fact, he already has 8 touchdowns this season.
Wow.
Yeah, he's averaging basically 1 a week.
As an owner of Josh Jacobs in fantasy, I am happy for that. However,
Good for you.
I'm going to need the Steelers to minimize Josh Jacobs, and that's the one thing they've been preaching all week. Terrell Austin, TJ Watt, everybody on the defense is saying, stop the run. Our mission is stop the run, stop the run, stop the run.
That's what it was all about Thursday night, apparently.
Which is great. Yeah, stop the run. Except, I don't know, maybe a guy like Jamar Chase got 23 fucking targets. So maybe, yeah, stop the run. But you might want to stop the pass too.
Yeah, and listen, the Packers don't have a Jamar Chase level player. That could be Golden once they want to finally utilize him or get him more involved. Considering the fact that they have not had Jaden Reed for the past number of weeks, he's still on IR. Chris Watson still recovering from his torn ACL, and Wicks is out. You figure they would implement more of Matthew Golden into the offense. And you kind of notice that they're starting to do that over the past number of weeks, but they haven't done it as often as you think they would.
Yeah.
Especially with a first rounder and a talent like Matthew Golden. But I mean, they still have a plethora of targets that Love loves to try to connect with and spread the ball about. They still got a plethora of targets.
By the way, Matthew Golden was limited today with a hip injury, and he is listed as questionable. I would imagine he's going to play.
I would imagine as well, yeah.
I imagine he is going to play. You look at the Packers offense. They have sky high potential. Like they have all the talent in the world to be one of the best offenses in the league. I think it really comes down to play calling. I think it comes down to Matt LaFleur calling the plays properly for the Packers and getting these guys involved, and preferably throwing the ball a lot more. You got a quarterback that's got a lot of money that you trust, obviously. He sat under A-Rod. Now he's your franchise. You signed him to this big contract. You gave him a wide receiver in the first round for the first time in however many years in your franchise.
But you couldn't do it for A-Rod.
So I feel like, yeah, I know.
I'm just saying.
No, literally. It didn't matter for A-Rod. He's still an MVP without it.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, yeah, the first 2 years Love sat, A-Rod won MVP. Kind of funny how it works.
Yeah.
Like he really had some vengeance on the mind in his later years.
Oh, he's going to have some vengeance on this game. I don't think there's anything personal between Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, but the Packers are the enemy, and Aaron Rodgers is thinking the exact same way, bro. Is that in Heinz Field, Sunday Night Football, under the lights, prime time, the world watching, Aaron Rodgers versus his former team. He is going to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, a sense of revenge. The Packers are the enemy. Now, he did say that his career started in Green Bay, and one day it will end in Green Bay. You already know he's going to retire as a Packer, as, of course, why wouldn't he?
Yeah, like 18 years over there, of course.
Why wouldn't he?
Made a career over there. Was it a 4-time MVP as a Packer?
Yeah, and
course.
one-time Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, oh, great. Thanks for bringing that up, bro.
Well,
Nice.
I'm just speaking of
Yeah,
stats.
yeah, he won a Super Bowl, and we know who it was against, and now he's trying to help that team he beat.
We're not here to talk about that.
No.
These teams have had a lot of history. They've had a lot of great games. However, the Packers, I don't know if you guys know this. Here's a stat for you. The Packers have not won in Pittsburgh since 1970.
Yes, that was Chuck Noll's second season as head coach, and it was Terry Bradshaw and Mel Blount's rookie year.
Get out.
The quarterbacks for that game were Terry
Bradshaw was the
as
number one overall pick that year.
Terry Bradshaw as a rookie, and Bart Starr was still in town in Green Bay.
It's been that long.
That was the last time the Packers had beaten the Steelers in Pittsburgh.
55 years ago.
Yes.
Yo.
It's been a long time.
That is insane.
There's been, I think, 6 different meetings between the Steelers and Packers in Pittsburgh, and the Steelers have
Won every single one of them.
since 1970.
Who could remember that 2009 game?
Yes. Yeah,
Crazy 2009
A-Rod
game.
was asked about that. He's like, yeah, I remember that game.
Yep.
You know, the big, deep pass to start off to Greg Jennings, and then James Jones had a touchdown, and then threw it to Mike Wallace to end the game.
As time expired.
Yes, that was a crazy bout.
That was an unbelievable bout. It was just two gunslingers slinging it out in Heinz Field. We might get something similar in this game. I'm being completely honest. This might be a situation very much like we saw Thursday night with the Bengals, Joe Flacco, and the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers. They just sling it because Aaron Rodgers has proven he can still go.
Yes.
He can still sling it. That arm is not affecting him. That Achilles injury from 2 years ago has not affected him whatsoever. And we all know what Jordan Love can do. And frankly, we know what this defense can allow. We know what the defense can do when they want to actually play.
Yeah, when they're on their A game.
But again, I'm going to throw everything I said about the Packers out the door, out the window, because frankly, none of that matters come Sunday. Because any given Sunday night, I'm sure the Packers are going to be coming to hunt. It's against A-Rod. It's in Heinz Field. It's prime time. They're going to need another win. The Steelers are definitely going to have to get back in the win column. This is going to be a very interesting, must-see football game for sure.
Yeah, and listen, the NFL knew exactly what they were doing when they scheduled this for prime time, Sunday Night Football.
I can't help but think, I'm glad it's in Heinz Field and the Steelers are going to have the home field advantage. I can't help but think this game would be better if it was in Lambeau. Now, would our chances of beating the Packers in Lambeau be lessened? Yes, it would. But you got to look at it as a football fan, all right? Like, obviously, we're heavy Steelers fans, but look at it as a general football fan. This is Aaron Rodgers facing his former team for the first time since being traded.
Yeah.
It's an insane story.
It's exactly like how Favre was when he fought the Packers as a Viking.
Yes.
And then Peyton Manning fighting the Colts as a Bronco.
Or Tom Brady facing the Patriots.
Of course.
In Foxborough, right? Ricky with the 199 says, just bought my Darnell Washington jersey. Let's fucking go Pitt. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Speaking of jerseys, the Steelers will be wearing their 1933 throwbacks, or their new ones. They only wore them once, which was in 1994 versus the Indianapolis Colts. Barry Foster went off in that game. Kevin Green had 2 sacks in that game.
Yep.
That was the only time the Steelers wore their 1933 throwbacks. Now, there are differences between that jersey that Rob's wearing and the new one the Steelers will be wearing this Sunday night. You have the the Pittsburgh emblem.
I'm not sure if you can see that.
The Pittsburgh shield smack dab in the middle of the jersey and the number in the corner.
Yeah, the number 91, it is different because the emblem or the crest is now on the left shoulder of the new throwbacks, and the jersey number, the block number, is directly on the center of the jersey.
Yes. And they are going back to the gold helmets, except there's going to be a little bit of a variation. There's going to be a gray face mask. So like we saw with the throwback, like the 1970s throwbacks with the gray face mask, they're going to go that route, but go with the all gold helmets, which is a touch off of the original 1933 throwbacks. Now, they didn't wear the gold helmets in 1994 when they initially, for the only time really, wore the 33 throwbacks. They wore the 33 throwbacks with the original jersey, the one that Rob's wearing, and the khaki pants, but the black helmet. They made some jersey, variations. They are keeping the khakis, but they're going with the gold helmet and the gray face mask, which is a touch off of the original. And I'll give you a picture right here. So you see that was the original jersey that the Pittsburgh Steelers at the time, Pittsburgh Pirates, wore when Art Rooney, the Chief, originally purchased the Pittsburgh Steelers, which were at the time the Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
That is the original jersey. So yes, you see where they're going with the khakis and the jersey and the line schemes, and of course the helmet, which was gold. So obviously it's not the same shade as gold, but they're going with the gold helmets with the 70s feel of the gray face mask.
Yeah, I mean, they're mixing a bit of old school with the throwbacks, of course, with some new school and whatnot. They try to be creative with it. They try to change a little bit of aspect with it. The gold helmet's fire. Like, the gold helmet just sticks out. It's like this. The Steelers players in practice have worn it all week, and they look damn good in them. I feel like the face mask, which is gray, I feel like they could have made that black because you already have the, I don't know if it's gray or beige, whatever color you want to say, the khakis. The khaki pants that they're going to wear with the new throwbacks. Because I feel like you could either went with the gray face mask with the gold helmet and the black pants, or you go with the black face mask and then the beige khaki pants.
Yeah.
Instead of just going with both gray or beige or whatever, with both the face mask and the pants. That's just my 2 cents there.
I'm cool with them keeping the khaki pants because that's the whole 33 vibe. I would have just had them go with the black helmet because I think the gold face mask or the gold helmet with the gray face mask would have been absolutely picture perfect for the color rush.
Mm-hmm. You've been adamant about that for some time now.
Yes.
But the Steelers obviously opted to go a different route. They went with this.
It's going to be a lot of gold.
As a matter of fact, so much so that the Packers actually had to make a change.
They're going to be wearing their all whites, which they wore twice last year, both in victories, and they wore once already this year versus the Commanders, I believe, week 2 with a victory.
Yes.
So if you add it all up, the Packers wearing their all whites are actually 3-0.
Yeah, great. Good for them.
So at least they have that going for them. They haven't won in Pittsburgh since 1970, but they're 3-0 in the all whites. So to accommodate, to kind of block off so much gold, since the Packers' normal helmets are gold or yellow cheese, whatever, cheddar, right?
Cheddar better,
I guess. They kind of wanted to not get so much of a weird vibe, a weird eyesore.
They wanted to avoid so much yellow, which I can understand.
Which
I get it. But it's also going to make for a very weird uniform matchup combination.
Sure.
It's going to be all white versus all gold. It's going to be a weird look for primetime football.
It is, but that's what we're going to get.
That's exactly what we're going to get.
And even though the Steelers are coming off a loss and a pretty rough one, seeing that the defense did literally nothing and didn't help the Steelers in any regard, I am still very excited for this game. I'm looking very much forward to it, mostly because of the fact that it is Aaron Rodgers versus his former team, and the Steelers will be sporting the 33 throwbacks for the first time since 1994.
Yep.
And how often is that going to be a thing? Is this something they're going to do every year? Potentially. But it'll be interesting to see what it looks like actually on Heinz Field under the lights.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. The Steelers, regardless, man, have to get a win. They got to get back in the win column, because the schedule only gets tougher from here on out. They had the Browns, where they had their most complete game. Then they had the Bengals on a short week with a prime opportunity to go 2-0 in the division. Instead, they lost in rough fashion. And now they get into the tough stretch of the schedule, where you got the Packers, then the Colts, then the Chargers, then you get the Bengals again. Then you go on to another tough schedule stretch.
Doesn't get any easier from here.
From here on out, it's all about trying to get a victory. It's all about sketching out victories at this point.
It's all about performing better and utilizing your talents to the best of their ability and make sure that they get the proper snap count.
Yeah.
And by that, I'm talking about Nick Herbig defensively, because that was one of the big negatives coming from the Steelers defense versus the Bengals. We did not see enough of Nick Herbig.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if you want to know the exact snap count he had 29 versus the Bengals.
And he had how many? How many versus the Browns? Almost 50?
Versus the Browns, he had exactly 50. The week before that, week 4 versus the Vikings in Dublin, he had 66.
Wow.
Week 3, he had 61.
How do you reduce his snap count when he has been an absolute fireball for this defense?
As a matter of fact, if you recall, in literally every game he played up until the Bengals game, he made a play.
Yeah.
If you remember.
Yes.
The interception versus the Seahawks. He had a sack versus the Patriots. He had a sack and a half versus the Vikings and 2 sacks versus the Browns.
Yeah. How do you take this guy off the field?
According to Tomlin, because I wrote this down.
Oh, God.
According to Mike Tomlin, he revealed that the reason they kept him out as much as they did was because they wanted to focus on stopping the run, basically saying that if Herbig was in, the rush defense would have been worse. But I want you to keep in mind that Herbig started in place of Highsmith for the Patriots and Vikings game.
Yeah.
Where the rush
Continue.
defense was literally at its top, where they limited both rushing attacks. And then if you recall, versus the Browns, Highsmith came back, but Herbig outsnapped both Watt and Highsmith in that game, where we went up against Quinshad Judkins, who's a stud rookie for the Browns. We limited him to only 36 yards.
Yeah.
With Herbig outsnapping Watt and Highsmith.
Yeah, I don't understand or agree with Tomlin's reasoning there. Oh, we didn't give him as many snaps because we were focused on stopping the run. Are you saying Nick Herbig can't stop the run? Because that's very evident to me. The guy is very dominant wherever you put him, no matter the situation is. And the way I see it, you're gonna need somebody to get to Flacco or get to the quarterback as soon as possible when he's probably one of our fastest and most electric pass rushers. And the way they were getting the ball off so quick, you're gonna need that kind of speed since they're getting the ball out in 2 seconds.
As a matter of fact, this might be a hot topic, and I'm only talking about this season, not career-wise whatsoever. I'm talking about this season alone, and this is just me. He's probably been our best pass rusher all year, just based off how, based off how consistent he's been.
Yeah.
With how many pressures he gets, how quick he is to the quarterback, and how consistent he's been. And that's no shade of Watt. That's no shade of Highsmith. We all know how great they are. We know how great Watt and Highsmith is. This goes to show the capabilities we have as far as our edge group goes. It's dominant. It's literally the best group we have.
Yeah.
Probably throughout the entire NFL. But as far as Herbig getting the playing time, and he's earned that right to be on the football field. And he's made the most of his plays.
No, there's no way you can justify reducing his snaps. And in this game, he better see 50 snaps. 40 minimum. Like, there ain't no way that he should see less than 30. No way. And I get, we got to stop the run. We got to stop the run. How about you stop the slant routes to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? Let's not forget the guy had 16 catches. Both these receivers had touchdowns on us in the first half alone.
Yes.
But, let's just stop the run. That was his opening statement out of the second half, right? Or out of the first half into the second half. He's like, we got to stop the run. They're not a focus for us. They scored touchdowns on you.
Yeah, he said that Chase and Higgins were less significant as far as stopping the Bengals.
But even still, coming out, they couldn't stop anything.
No.
They even when Pat Frymuth got a 68-yard touchdown from Aaron Rodgers, right? They had 2:21 left. And I know, the topic of discussion was, why didn't he slide? Why didn't he go down? There was too much time on the clock. They scored way too early. The way I see it, the way the defense came out, they could have had 20 seconds. And they still would have had too much time because the defense was so unreliable. The fact of the matter is the defense had to make one play. They had to make one stop, and they couldn't do it. They left Chase wide open. There was miscommunication. Peyton Wilson wasn't on the football field, and obvious passing downs. You opted to have Cole Holcomb on the field in those situations, which led to the miscommunication.
You know who also wasn't on the football field during the Bengals game-winning drive? Nick Herbig. He did not have one snap. Not one.
That's got to change in this game.
And that falls on coaching.
Because even though the play calling from Matt LaFleur has been underwhelming, although the Packers offense isn't as explosive as they absolutely can be, we can't underestimate them. We can't underestimate the arm of Jordan Love and the speed of Dobbs and Matthew Golden,
No.
and of course the elite running ability of Josh Jacobs. This defense has to come out and play flat out better.
Yeah, I mean, like, no exceptions and no excuses and no limitations for any of the players. Because the Steelers, of course, they played 6 games. 3 of those games that they have played, they have given up 30 points or more.
Yeah.
They are 1-2 in that span. And they have given up a 100-yard rusher in those 3 games exactly. They gave up 394 yards versus the Jets, 395 versus the Seahawks, and 470 versus the Bengals with Joe Flacco.
Yeah. You know a guy I also noticed getting a ton of snaps versus the Bengals? Chuck Clark, which was a question mark for me because he was actually inactive. He didn't play a single. He didn't get a helmet versus the Browns that Sunday before. But you have this guy play the majority of the free safety reps opposite of Elliott. He didn't play the game prior. No wonder there was miscommunication issues. Where's Jabril Peppers? Where's Juan Thornhill?
Peppers actually did not have 1 snap on the defense at all.
Peppers got
versus the Bengals.
0 snaps.
0. None.
How?
I don't know. Why do we pick this guy up? I know he's a fine special teams guy, and I know the Steelers lost Miles Killebrew,
So
which is
is Chuck
unfortunate.
Clark.
But Chuck Clark, like, literally, like, just swap the roles of Clark and Peppers. Peppers is a very capable, high-quality starting safety, no matter what position you put him at. That could be free safety or strong safety. Peppers has showcased with his experience that he can play both. And you want to stop the run, you can't ask for a better player than Jabril Peppers.
Yeah.
He has been a consistent run defender and a consistent tackler for his position for many years.
So the way I see it, Nick Herbig needs more snaps. Peyton Wilson in obvious passing downs needs more snaps. Jabril Peppers needs to see the majority of the snaps at free safety instead of Chuck Clark.
And the safety tandem needs to be Peppers and Elliott.
And I think they got to blitz more. One thing that they didn't do enough last week versus the Bengals was they stopped blitzing. It's like the second they stopped blitzing is when the defense stopped playing, is when they stopped getting to the quarterback. The blitz has been working essentially all year, but mostly for the last 3 games up until that Bengals game. The blitz was so effective, and then the second they stopped it, Joe Flacco carved them up.
Like he was a pumpkin. Like we were pumpkins. Happy Halloween.
So, yeah, in this game, the defense has to flat out play better.
No,
yes, they have to stop the run. You got to stop Jacobs, and you got to force Jordan Love to throw the ball. But the way the secondary was playing, listen, man, I'm not going to be all high and mighty. I'm not going to feel very confident if Jordan Love is just going to be the one to have the game in his hands, to have the Packers to come back is with Jordan Love in his arm. Because against the secondary last week, that was atrocious. And I'm talking to everybody. Ramsey was bad. Slay was bad. JPJ was bad. Everybody was bad. Like, from a scheme and a execution aspect, it was all bad. It was. Like, from coaching to the players to the execution, it was flat out bad football.
Patrick Queen didn't hold back. He said we played like shit. We played awful. There was miscommunication on the defense.
Again.
But listen, like, that's a good first step, is taking accountability and acknowledging, like, yeah, for our pedigree and how much we're being paid and the expectations, yeah, we played like crap.
So, yeah, this defense has to be better. They got to actually play the proper people. They got to start blitzing more. Yes, they got to stop the run, but they got to be much better in coverage.
And yes, the players, they need to execute at the end of the day, but they also need to be in position for the players to make said plays.
Yeah.
For them to do what they need to do.
One thing's for sure in this game, they got to create some turnovers.
Yes, they do.
I think that's one of the biggest keys of winning this football game is you got to get the turnovers from Love. You got to force Love to make the mistakes that he has been making for years now. You know, he's been reducing them to a good extent, but you got to get those mistakes out of Love. And I think the Steelers have a good chance of winning if that's the case. But the defense has to come out and be much better than they were last week, because that was a rough performance. The offense finally is something we can somewhat be relied on.
Yeah, right?
With Aaron Rodgers at 41 years old, and then the defense just wants to collapse. I'm like, bro, we finally got something here. And the defense is like, nah, I'm going to sit this one out. You can't sit this one out. You can't.
No.
The Packers offense is not as explosive as they should. But again, I'm not just going to rely on that and think, oh, the defense, the Steelers defense by default is going to be much better in this game. For all we know, the Packers could come out and have their best showing all season offensively because of what the defensive mistakes have been and what they were versus the Bengals. And if they don't improve, if they don't make the adjustments necessary, it could get ugly again. And thus, we're going to need the offense to keep us in the game. We're going to need Aaron Rodgers to show the Packers, hey, I still got it. And yes, Aaron Rodgers still has it.
You do still got it.
14 touchdowns on the year, 4 touchdowns last week. Yeah, he threw 2 picks. One of them was an overthrow to DK. The other one, DK just flat out didn't play the play. DK, man, love DK. I think he's been a very good addition. He's had, 4 touchdowns this year?
Yeah.
4 touchdowns. He's definitely had a few mistakes. You know, he had a couple drops. He had a bad, play last week where he just let, what's his nuts?
DJ Turner. DJ Turner get the interception.
Ripped the ball out of his hands. But, DK is going to have to be heavily relied on in this game. But he will have some help. We do have Calvin Austin returning. He is healthy, and he is good to go. Calvin Austin will be back.
Can't ask for a better time for him to come back then.
Yeah.
You can't.
Because nobody was stepping up. Literally nobody.
No. And Roman Wilson, he saw, 33 snaps, I think I read. He had 33 snaps versus the Bengals, though he wasn't really involved as often as the amount of snaps he had. But Calvin Austin, we said this several times about him, he's the most experienced wide receiver on the team. He's been with the team the longest as far as the wide receiver group goes.
Yeah.
And, of course, he's just built that trust within the players, within the coaches, and of his reliability. Is he a true de facto number 2? Not in my eyes, but can he fill that role? Yes, he can.
Well, that's why we still have to sign, trade for a wide receiver. Because, please, we need another receiver. But having Calvin back is good because I've said it for the last 2 years now. He is someone that when you throw him the ball, when he has the ball in his hands, I have the utmost confidence and trust that good things will happen. You give him the ball, you give him targets, Calvin will come down with it. It don't matter how small he might be or how light he might be. He's coming down with that football. He's a trusted receiver. So I'm glad that A-Rod's going to have him back. We're going to have that speed. The Packers defense, man.
A lot of pedigree.
Very, very, very similar to their offense. They have the tools all there to be one of the best in the league. However, there are some inconsistencies. There are some things that are a little underwhelming. And frankly, I think there's enough that the Packers allow that could give the Steelers offense some life in this one where they could keep us in the game if the defense doesn't step it up. The offense is going to have to definitely try to establish a running game, but it's going to be tough against a very strong front seven of the Green Bay Packers. You're looking at, in terms of the name value and the depth and everything they've invested, it's probably one of the more stacked front sevens in the entire league.
Yes.
Obviously led by Micah Parsons, who they traded for right before the beginning of the season. He's coming off a 3-sack performance, a career high, versus the Arizona Cardinals. We all know what Micah can do.
Yeah.
He is explosive. He is so – I don't think I've seen a more explosive edge rusher in the league.
No, and the thing about the Packers, and they knew exactly what they want to do with Parsons, is they know how to move him around, and they do it consistently at that.
Yes.
They don't hold him back. They don't keep him stationary.
Mbald – how do I say this? Mbaldando 412. I totally botched that. He says with a $2 super chat, another Tomlin living in his fears again. I hope not. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever.
Not on prime time. Not at
hope
home.
not.
Not at home.
I hope not.
No, fingers crossed it's not the case.
No.
But yeah, the Packers, they know how to use Parsons. They move him around. They don't keep him stationary, and that's something that the Steelers are obviously going to have to keep a watchful eye on.
Well, not just him.
His impact is very much felt.
Well, he's fast. He's explosive. He can get to the quarterback like that. Don't give him any one-on-one situations, otherwise you already lost.
Yes.
I swear to God. That's how consistent Parsons is.
Yeah, what the Steelers did with Myles Garrett, they got to basically do the same thing with Parsons.
Absolutely. Whatever you did, how to chip him with a double or triple team, a chip from Warren or a chip from Darnell, or have Darnell play a lot of the tight end snaps and have him be like that extra blocker, that extension of the line, that sixth man. along that line to slow down Parsons. Wherever Parsons lines up, you put Darnell there. That's the exact same thing they have to do. They did that versus the Browns. Very effective versus Garrett. I think he's still on a milk carton. Parsons, you got to have that same game plan. The only issue is Parsons is faster. He's more explosive.
Yes.
He's so agile. He's got a way to get to the quarterback. He's got an arsenal of moves. That's how good Parsons is. Like he's a legitimate game wrecker, generational talent.
But he's not the only one among that front seven or among as a pass rusher. They also still have Rashawn Gary.
Rashawn Gary is a stud.
Who's also got 5.5 sacks. I mean, like, the pass rush duo has already been as advertised.
I don't think Rashawn Gary gets talked about
No,
enough.
he doesn't. No, he doesn't. I mean, he was a great pass rusher coming out of Michigan. Green Bay took him out in the first round, and he has just been basically the premier pass rusher up until Parsons, of course. But,
Yeah.
I mean, already Gary and Parsons just complement each other. I mean, they are a scary duo. And you got Broderick and Fatanu, who've been playing better over the past number of weeks, especially Broderick Jones. Props to him. They got a huge test going against these two pass rushers.
Yes, but interior. Now, Zach Frazier popped up on the injury report earlier this week
That's something I don't like to hear.
with a calf injury. He popped up on the injury report, I think it was Wednesday.
It was start of the week, Wednesday.
He was limited Wednesday with a calf injury, and he didn't even participate Thursday, but he was limited today. But he is questionable, so I would imagine Frazier will play. We're going to need him because you can't forget a guy like Carl Brooks. You can't forget a guy like Devontae Wyatt,
No.
who's
Another first rounder.
another first rounder and another mammoth of a lineman. That entire front seven, and we're not even talking about the linebackers yet.
No.
And their linebackers are just crazy.
Talking Edgar and Cooper, who we were scouting last year's draft when it came to linebackers. And
Yes.
Cooper's one of those guys that popped up for you and me because of just how quick and explosive he was at Texas A&M. He's been good for them.
And of course, Quay Walker.
Quay Walker, first rounder, Georgia guy, just like Wyatt. Just another very good, consistent linebacker for them.
And Isaiah McDuffie.
Yeah, another good linebacker. Like the front seven is great. Their front seven is good. It's a hell of a core. It's a hell of a unit. And
It's going to be a definite challenge for the offensive line. Broderick Jones has been very good since the first 2 weeks. He's been flat out shut down, really. Very little critical errors coming from Broderick Jones. Very little penalties, very little hurries or sacks allowed. He's been very, very good ever since the first 2 weeks. He's going to have a incredibly tough task against Micah Parsons, and same thing with Fatanu on the right side.
Yep.
They've both been quiet studs for this team. Like you don't hear a lot of negative or any negative regarding those guys ever since the beginning of the season. They have quietly put on a lot of good tape, but they're going to have a tough matchup here. Wherever they want to put Gary, wherever they want to put Parsons, either guy's going to have probably their biggest test all season.
it's literally 4 first rounders going at each other. It's like high pedigree players right here going to be against each other. It's just
Yep.
going to be a matter of who's the better of the first rounders, who's the better of these trench players right here.
But that just means that a guy like Darnell Washington's going to get the nod, and he's going to see a ton, if not all, of the tight end snaps, the primary tight end snaps.
As he should. I want to see 40 or more snaps for Darnell Washington once again.
As he should, because he's an unbelievable blocker. He's a great extension of the line. He's going to help chip Gary or Parsons, which is going to give A-Rod time against a Packers secondary, which is mostly consisting of Nate Hobbs and Xavier McKinney. And McKinney was a hell of a signing. I don't know why the Giants got rid of him. Just like, why did the Giants get rid of Barkley, which was stupid? Well, it was also stupid for them to let McKinney walk.
And McKinney had a great first year for Green Bay last year. 8 interceptions.
8.
And he's still a stud safety for them. I mean, he's one of the more premier, one of the better safeties in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's definitely a guy that A-Rod's going to have to keep a watchful eye on, that the passing attack's going to have to keep a watchful eye on. And you mentioned Nate Hobbs. They spent big bucks on him, primarily playing outside, and he's very capable of doing so.
Yes. Billy Morrow, the one on us, is hopefully the Packers don't run a slant route.
Pretty sure they're already drawing it up right now.
Can you imagine Matthew Golden, slant route, boom, cover 2 up the middle? I don't want to speak into existence. It's just, It wouldn't be the first time
No.
against that defense. Definitely wouldn't. But no, man, I think A-Rod and company can get something going against that Packers secondary. If the line can hold up, if Darnell could play a lot of help, same thing with Jalen Warren. If they can help out enough to give A-Rod some time, I think that A-Rod can sling it and get the passes down the field against the Packers secondary, which, yeah, Hobbs, McKinney are good. Javon Bullard's their nickel guy. Outside of that, their corners are still questionable. Their safeties outside of McKinney are questionable.
Yeah.
I think they allow too much. Overall, I think the Packers, they're not as good as what they are portrayed to be. Thus, overall, I think the Steelers have a good chance to actually come back, or they should have a good chance.
As far as the offensive chances of doing so, I think going up against their secondary or attacking their secondary is the best way to do it, because I do think that their secondary is their weak link.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. They got talent. They got players. They got some superstars in that secondary. But are they a consistent bunch? Not in my eyes. At least I don't see it yet. It's still early into the season. They could still be gelling. They could still be progressing. We'll see come Sunday night. But as of right now, I see that as their weak link, and I'm sure A-Rod does as well.
Yes.
And A-Rod, I mean, like, of course, he knows the Packers. He's been with them for years. He knows some of the players. He's been teammates with some of these players.
Yep.
And he knows the in and outs of these players. I'm sure these guys do the same to A-Rod, but A-Rod's a football junkie. He's a guru at that.
Oh, yeah. One of the smartest minds in the entire league.
And again, seeing what the Cardinals did and what Jacoby Brissett did, I don't think he turned over the ball once or threw an interception. He had like 2 touchdowns against that secondary.
No.
Slinging it to Zay Jones and Trey McBride and whatnot. Like, Brissett actually looked pretty solid versus the Packers secondary. I think A-Rod can do the same, especially the way A-Rod's been playing and connecting with his targets. We're getting Calvin Austin back. If if they try to implement or involve DK a lot more and just target him, of course, Darnell and the tight end stepped up big, especially Mute last week.
Right.
If they're consistent with that, I think the offense can have a shot.
M. Baldondo with 412 with a 5. So Skip Bayless just ripped us a couple hours ago saying Green Bay is going to blow us out.
That's the first time I'm hearing about this, but Skip Bayless.
Is that what he said? Now I'm going to search it.
Go ahead. Check it out. I mean, Skip Bayless. His takes aren't exactly the most accurate or the most correct.
He always just talks out of his ass. Now, if the Packers blow us out, would I be surprised? No. I'm not surprised by anything with this team. Do I think that happens? No. I don't think the Steelers get blown out. I think the Steelers keep it competitive. Will they win? I don't know. I can't confidently say yes.
Especially after coming off a loss like we just saw.
But coming off of that kind of loss versus the Bengals, it would be the most Steelers thing to come back with a win versus a team like the Packers. It would just be the most Steelers thing. We've seen Tomlin do it so many times. But I do think the Steelers are going to be in contention to win this game. I think they're going to stay in it. We just need the defense to be a lot stronger. We need the defense to get the love, get some turnovers, definitely get the blitz packages going again, more snaps for Herbig. And the offense, you got to give A-Rod time. If you give A-Rod time, I think DK could have a good game. I think Calvin can have a good game. You already know that Arthur Smith runs a ton of 12 and 13 personnel. So I guarantee you Aaron Rodgers is going to connect with every single one of his tight ends. He might give one or two of them a score. Maybe we get another score for Jonnu or Muth. You know, you look at what Trey McBride did versus the Packers. That's the blueprint of how Arthur Smith can utilize his tight ends.
Literally.
We can get a guy like Jonnu finally going up the field because of what McBride was able to do last week.
Yeah, just look at the tape.
Or like Pat Frymuth coming off of his best game of his entire career. Get him going more. Why would you not? You know, when you have the hot hand going, typically you want to go with said hot hand. And that's what Herbig was for the defense until Tomlin slowed it down. That is what Frymuth can be for the offense.
Or hell, that's what Darnell has been for the offense, just with his blocking ability and his attack and his impact on the offense.
And up until last week, DK had 4 touchdowns in 4 straight games.
Yeah.
So you got to ride with those hot hands, which I think is going to hopefully lead to a victory come Sunday night. Because regardless, the Steelers need a victory here.
No, the defensively, they need to rebound big time. The offense has been a big positive over the past number of weeks. Offense just got to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Keep playing Darnell, keep playing Spencer Anderson because they are a huge impact and a huge plus for the rushing attack. Try to continue to get that involved, continue with that, and just spread the ball about as long as A-Rod is protected and he's given time.
I also want to mention the Packers are the number 2 ranked rush defense. They're allowing they're allowing only 76.5 rushing yards a game.
Again, we just broke down their front seven. I mean, it's not hard to see why.
However, the Steelers have been able to establish a rushing game the last couple of weeks with Gainwell and now with Warren. Warren coming off of an unbelievable game, his best game of the season, and ultimately it didn't matter because we lost the ball game. But
yeah, it seems when Warren has great games, the Steelers just can't pull off a victory.
I know.
Weird.
But can they run the ball versus the Packers? I think they can. I think they have a great chance. The line has been very good as of late. Granted, they're going up against their toughest task to date with the Packers and what they have to offer there in the trenches. I think we can still find a way to run the ball, especially with a guy like Jaylen Warren. If not, guess what? If A-Rod's got to sling it 30-something times a game, chuck it up to DK. We got Calvin. Give it to your tight ends. Get those guys going up the field. What I'm trying to say is the Steelers should have an opportunity to get a win back because I don't think the Packers are all that. That might not matter come Sunday because, again, this is...
Yeah, they can make you eat your words.
This is stressful Steelers football at the end of the day, right? You know, like the Bengals, their season... I said their season's over. It might not be, but, you know, they traded for Joe Flacco. They had nothing going on at all, because they lost Burrow. And none of it mattered come last Thursday night, and they ran all over us.
Mm-hmm.
They ran all over us. They passed all over us. Nothing of what happened from the Bengals before that game mattered. So same thing with the Packers here. It's just, I think they should have an opportunity to get a win back. Will they? It's up to the Steelers. If they really want to play, if they really want to step up and improve off of last week's mistakes, the Steelers can get a win. It's going to be tough, though, man. It's going to be tough because I can definitely see this game being pretty competitive, pretty close, maybe even one of those high-scoring shootout sort of situations.
Yeah.
Where it's just one of those back-and-forth deals. Or it could be very defensive. This can go either way. All I know is I think it's going to be close, and it's going to be a very chippy ball game.
No doubt about it. It's going to be a fun matchup. It's going to be an intriguing matchup. And again, A-Rod facing the Packers for the first time since being traded away. And he said himself that he doesn't see this as a revenge game and that there's no animosity toward the organization.
No.
But that still doesn't mean that A-Rod don't want to go out there and ball out versus former team. He still wants to go out there and get a victory at the end of the day. So that's the goal. That's the mission. That's what needs to be done. No limits, no exceptions. Just go out there and do what you need to do.
I got 3 keys to victory. Number 1 is Darnell. Use him a lot and use him to limit that pass rush. You got to give A-Rod time. And the key to that is Darnell. He is a huge helping hand. He is an extension, a honorary oos of that offensive line. He is an honorary offensive lineman. Use Darnell to give A-Rod time. That's my number 1 key to victory, is use Darnell to limit that pass rush, limit Parsons, limit Gary. That's what you got to do. You do that, give A-Rod time, he can sling the football. We've seen it. We know he can do it. He still has it. Versus the Packers, you know he's going to want to sling it. Give him the time. He's got DK. You're going to get Calvin back. He loves all his tight ends. Give him the time to connect with those guys. And I'm pretty sure we can get in the end zone. Number 2, you got to get pressure on Love. You got to get sacks. You got to get pressure. You got to run it with the blitzes again, and you got to force some turnovers. Otherwise, the secondary, listen, man, I don't know if they can be trusted. I don't. We know what Jordan Love, when Jordan Love wants to play, he can play.
When he's on, he's on.
And they have plenty of targets to connect down the field and be as explosive as they are advertised to be. They haven't got there yet. If there's a game for them to do it, it is this game because it's the Steelers defense we're talking about. It's Mike Tomlin's-led Steelers defense we're talking about in prime time. If there's a game for the Packers to finally turn it up a notch on offense, it's this one. But you got to get to Love. You got to force some mistakes. You got to get some turnovers on him. And number 3, overall, be protective of the football. I'm talking the defense got to come down with the ball, and the offense can't cough it up. Because frankly, this could be one of those games. It could come down to which offense makes the first mistake, or which defense makes the first play.
It's high possibility, high probability.
And
really.
frankly, you know, that's kind of what it came down to last week with the Bengals. Is which defense came away with the first play, and it was the Bengals. Came away with 2 picks, which was a 10-point swing.
Yep. I mean, after the first interception, they scored a touchdown. I think it was the Higgins touchdown.
Yeah, and the Steelers didn't get the lead back until Freiermuth.
Nope, not at all.
And we all knew it was too much time. It was a great moment. Celebrated. We freaked the hell out. I snapped, but I saw 2 minutes, 21 seconds. I'm like, oh no, that's too much time.
Oh wait, that's right, the defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can't be doing those mistakes again, man. A-Rod's got to be smarter, and DK, in a situation like that, he's got to come down with the football. As an offense, as a whole, you can't cough up the football. Otherwise, it could get very much ugly like it did last week. Until we see some improvement and we see some more dominance from the defense, it's hard for me to get that trust back. We know what they can do because we saw it for weeks before that Bengals game. But the second you let up, the second you make the same mistakes as we've seen for years past, is the second I start to doubt you, and I don't have that trust again. You need to get the trust back in me, and that's just not just the defense. That's the team as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
That's coaching as a whole, and it's got to start with this game, because this starts what's going to be a tough 3-game stretch, and at that point, I'm not even going to underestimate the Bengals. So a 4-game stretch, even further. We got 11 straight games now. Like, your mini bye is over, bro. You ain't got no break. You ain't got no rest. Every game from here on out, 11 straight weeks, 11 straight games. You can't be sacrificing another loss here. You can't be surrendering another L on your schedule. You got to get a win.
Nope.
I don't care. I don't care how it's done. Get a win. That's what matters, right? At the end of the day, right? Getting a win, get a win.
Doesn't get easier from here. It only gets more difficult as the season progresses.
Especially since the Steelers are wearing your 33 throwbacks. I would hate for the Steelers to have a disappointing, or worse, an embarrassing performance while wearing what many people are calling the ugliest jerseys ever. I don't think they're the ugliest jerseys ever, but to a lot of people, it's going to be an eyesore.
Yeah.
Are they worse than the Bumblebees?
See, just like the Bumblebees, it's not everybody's cup of tea.
I like the Bumblebees.
I don't mind.
I might wear mine.
No, we got to do the Rudolph.
The curse is broken. The streak is over.
Oh, let me stop you there. Did you change your hats Thursday night?
Not once.
That's why.
We didn't.
And we had to take down the Fire Tomlin sign.
Yeah, ever since.
Usually when the Fire Tomlin sign was up, the defense was actually on point. We take it down, you don't change the hats, that's why.
Don't worry, wait till after the trade deadline. Don't worry, wait until after the trade deadline.
Yep. Especially the defense keeps playing the way that they did.
The opinions never changed.
Never changed.
By the way,
never
yes,
wavered.
Please trade for a wide receiver, please.
I mean, the deadline's what? Not this upcoming Tuesday, after.
So next Tuesday.
November 4th.
Is that the deadline?
Yes, November 4th, 4 p.m. So time's winding down. Time is winding down. So it's like they're still looking for a wide receiver. They want a speedy threat. As a matter of fact, it was reported that wide receiver needy teams are really closely monitoring the Saints, Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, on their availability.
Their availability, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got some news, actually.
Okay.
Now, take it with a grain of salt. This is from Tony Pauline of Sportskeeda. What report did he have last year? He had a report last year regarding a wide receiver, didn't he? And
I think you would know more than me.
What report?
Because I
was
don't
that?
remember. I don't remember.
I forget what report it was. I'm pretty sure it was regarding a receiver. Now I gotta search it.
Does anybody in the chat remember? Because I can't for the life of me remember at this moment.
He had a report at some point last. I forget. It might come to me later, but either way, I'd still take it with a grain of salt.
I think
maybe it was the Deontay Johnson trade rumors. Maybe it was maybe it wasn't even last year. Maybe it was a few years ago.
I don't
I don't know. No, I think it was the Deontay Johnson trade rumors. I think it was. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure it was the Deontay Johnson trade rumors. Now that I think about it, I think that's what his report was. I think that actually was last year.
Well, he was right about it.
So that's still, regardless. This is from Tony Pauline of Sportskeeda. Take it with a grain of salt. He says Steelers eyeing Jalen Waddle and Calvin Ridley. The report says 2 names I am hearing as trade targets are Jalen Waddle of the Miami Dolphins and Calvin Ridley of the Tennessee Titans. According to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, the Dolphins don't plan on trading Waddle, but that could change if Miami continues to lose and the right deal is placed in front of them. Waddle's contract, which has a huge number in 2027, could also be a hurdle teams must overcome. Ridley has not been very productive this season and won't cost much in terms of draft picks. The other name to keep an eye on is, of course, Jacoby Myers, who wants out of Las Vegas, whose name has constantly been linked to the Steelers. Sources tell me there's legitimacy on a Myers to Pittsburgh deal, though other teams have inquired about the Raiders wideouts.
Okay. All right.
Those are 3 very interesting names. And, of course, there's Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, both of the New Orleans Saints.
Yes. So that's 5 options right there.
Let's start with Waddle, because that's who I really want.
I think that's who everybody would love to have.
That is who I really want. Like unrealistically, I want Waddle. I don't think Waddle is going to get traded because Jeremy Fowler just said the Dolphins don't want to get rid of him.
Well,
and
that's funny because his quarterback apparently can't freaking see him.
Yes. Oh, I heard. Why didn't Waddle get enough targets? Oh, I just couldn't see over the line.
Too well.
Wow. Great insight. God, man. I swear to God, free Waddle. Please. At least when he signed the contract, there was some promise there. They just got Reek. They got Mike McDaniel. Their offense was hot at the time. This was before. What are they now? 1-6?
1-6. They gave up 31 points to the Browns. How Mike McDaniel still has a job, I have no idea.
Who do they face this week? I know they got the Ravens on Thursday night next week. That's an L.
Who do the Dolphins face this week?
Either way, free Waddle. But I don't think they're going to because they view him as a long-term piece.
The Falcons.
Especially since Tyreek, he's out of there. Reek got hurt. He's going to be out. They're going to release his contract, or they're going to release him from his contract. They ain't going to have another receiver. So getting rid of 2 wide receivers like that, I doubt the Dolphins are going to want to do it. Should they? Yes. They should just scrap everything.
That's what they should do.
Now, are they going to have to take a massive dead cap hit? Absolutely. Yes, they will. And thus, that's going to force a team to give up so much for Waddle. Not only are they going to have to take his contract, the Dolphins are going to have to take a big hit. And because of that, they're going to want some big capital out of it, which is going to require at least 1 first-rounder, if not maybe a first and another day 2 pick. Are the Dolphins going to get that? No. That's the only way I think that they trade Waddle is if they get something that ludicrous. Thus, I don't think Waddle gets traded. But unrealistically, that is who I want. Unrealistically, it's Waddle or Garrett Wilson. But Garrett Wilson just signed a new deal this offseason, and frankly, he knew what he was getting into.
Yes.
You reap what you sow. So, unrealistically, those are my guys. But I don't think Waddle's going anywhere.
No, and listen, Waddle fits exactly what the Steelers are apparently looking for, a speedy threat, and he's still, he's going to be 27 next month, so he's still young and just a very impactful wide receiver. Had 1,000 yards in his first 3 years.
Yep.
But it's obvious to see why the Dolphins don't want to get rid of him. They don't want to give up on him.
Well, Fowler continued to say, while Miami could be tempted to trade players due to its 1-6 record, Waddle is a building block on offense, and he's due $36.1 million in cash over 2025 and 2026. Reasonable for a high-end receiver these days. Multiple league execs expect the Dolphins' no-trade stance to stand bearing a surprise. Waddle's not going nowhere. So,
I mean, it's not impossible. It's not out the realm of possibility. It's just
very unrealistic.
Yeah, it's a very slim chance at this moment.
Thus comes Calvin Ridley, according to Tony Pauline of Sportskeeda in this report here. A hard pass on Ridley. I just think he's older now. I think the year he took out of the league because of gambling hurt him. He hasn't been the same guy since his early Atlanta days. And frankly, his hands are very inconsistent. So I'm going to have to pass on Ridley.
No, he's had some drop issues as he's only gotten older.
And plus that big contract he signed with Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, like he got way overpaid.
Like the level of production he's serving with that contract, I'm going to have to pass on Ridley. I just don't think that would be a smart trade. Would it be better than what we have? Sure, but then you run into all those issues, which I'm not a fan of. Thus, you got Jacoby Myers.
Yeah.
Jacoby Myers still wants out of there. He said, this is what he had to say in regards to him wanting to be traded or being asked if he wants to be traded. He said he has no control over that. If I'm here, I'm here. If I'm not, I'm not. Wherever I'm at, I'm trying to get healthy and play good football. And when asked if he still feels the same way at the beginning of the season and if he still wants to be traded, he said, oh, for sure, but I'm a professional. And at the end of the day, I'm trying to play good football.
He wants out.
Of course he wants out. But,
Dude,
but he could... He's being professional about it. He could have just sat out all year. But what's the good in that?
So there is no good in that.
He's playing, and the Raiders suck. The thing is with Myers is he's soon to be 29. Like, he's going to be 29 days after the deadline, the trade deadline. And he's in the final year of his 3-year, $33 million contract. He's going to be due a contract, and he's probably going to get somewhere around 28 to 30-something million, if not more. He is a prototypical wide receiver, too. And I would love to trade for Myers. He's such a reliable possession receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to get Myers. That is probably the most realistic possibility since, I mean, you look at all the receivers being talked about in the trade situations. He's the guy that's been saying he wants out. So he'll probably get traded. But you also look at the Bills. They're going to want a receiver.
The Giants, they're looking for a receiver. They're actually under the Jalen Waddle watch right now.
Yeah.
So the Giants, they're a team that are going to be monitoring the situation.
Absolutely.
There.
But Jacoby Myers, realistically, is who I really want. Otherwise, yes, there's still Chris Olave. There's still Rashid Shaheed. Now, Jordan Schultz posted on X. He says, the two wide receivers in New Orleans, Olave and Shaheed, are being monitored by wide receiver needy teams ahead of the trade deadline, per sources. Now, Shaheed, we'll start with Shaheed. He's a big play receiver. He's got speed that can stretch the field. He's, one of those guys that comes down with the football. He's a deep threat. He comes down with the big plays. He's also in the last year of his contract, so he's going to commend a new contract. It's not going to be as expensive as a Myers or as anyone else, maybe even Olave. It's not going to be as expensive, but what he's shown the last, 4 years in New Orleans is he is a reliable number 2. He's not a number 1 by any stretch, but he's a very reliable number 2.
Big time. I mean, like, he's had to play the number 1 a couple times due to Chris Olave dealing with injury after injury. I'm talking about the concussion history that Olave has undergone,
yes,
has been through. But Shaheed, he's been a reliable hand. He's been quite the playmaker for the Saints, and the Saints don't really have a lot of those guys anymore. Kamara's not even the same guy he used to be. He's not the playmaker he once was.
No.
But Shaheed, he's still a young cat. He's still a young receiver. Good size, great speed at that. Again, a speedy threat that the Steelers are looking for. And a big play guy. And the Steelers are looking for targets like that. Shaheed fits the build.
Well, the Saints can also only keep one receiver. They can't keep both. It's either keep Olave or keep Shaheed. I don't think they can keep both because they're still awful in salary cap. And if they're going to elect to keep one, it might be Olave because actually they have been talking with Olave about a contract. But they've been working on it so long, is it actually ever going to happen? And now there's trade talks. They're what are they, 1-6?
1-6.
They're 1-6. I know Rattler's looking solid right now, but it's not really accumulating much. Olave, the biggest issue with him is his concussions, like Rob stated.
Yes. 4
concussions since coming into the league. He had 2 last year. I think the second one took him out the last 8 games. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the biggest concern with him. Otherwise, Olave is a great receiver. He's speedy. He's a route technician.
Now you see the game he had just this past week?
Yes. And the Saints actually exercised his 5th-year option this past offseason. So whoever trades for him still has him for another year, but you have that limited contract extension coming, which to me, I mean, I would trade for any of these guys. I'll trade for Shaheed and his big playability. I'll trade for Olave because I've always been a fan of him ever since his Buckeye days. I'll gladly take Olave. I'll gladly take Shaheed. I'll gladly take Myers. I think any of these guys are a huge improvement. I think would fit well with A-Rod in this offense right now, pair well with DK. I would prefer Myers or Olave, though. I don't think it would cost that much. And yes, either guy is going to need a new contract, but the Steelers are no stranger to that because they openly and willingly paid DK $33 million trading for him.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to shy away in doing the same thing for a guy like Myers or Olave or whoever they might have to trade for if a contract extension is looming. They're no shy to that. They're not paying a quarterback big money anytime soon. They can do that. In fact, throw more money at the offense. That's one thing they haven't done until they trade for DK. Throw more money on the offense. We've had the lowest paid offense for years now, up until DK finally got here. Throw more money at the receiver position. You need those impact guys. You need that field stretching ability. You need that extra reliability. Go get them. Go trade for a fucking receiver.
Yeah.
We need that guy. We need that extra playmaker. I don't care how you got to do it or how much you got to cough up. You got so many comp picks next year to do it. How many third-round picks are you going to get? You have 3 third-round picks guaranteed next year. One for Dan Moore because the Titans overpaid him like crazy. You got the one for trading Pickens, and then you got your own. You got 3 third-round picks plus a second and a first. You got enough capital to trade to go get a receiver. Whatever it's going to cost, go get them.
And honestly, this continuous discussion and talk of the Steelers looking for a wide receiver or trading for a wide receiver for them to fill wide receiver 2, it's got to come to an end eventually.
It's exhausting.
It's got to come to, because we're constantly bringing it up. We're constantly talking about it.
Well, the funny thing is like it stopped for 2 months.
Yeah, like we had that pairing for just a little bit, Pickens and Metcalf, and then it was just only a fantasy because Steelers didn't want to deal with the Pickens shenanigan no more.
And they traded Pickens 2 weeks after the draft without having a backup plan.
Which that was the Steelers' fault. I don't understand how. Like, that was still a possibility on the table.
Yes.
And you had no backup plan.
We've got 2 words for
Billy Maher with a 499 says, I would love any of those wide receivers, but knowing the Steelers, we will most likely end up with someone like Tyler Lockett. I hope I'm wrong. No, I don't want that.
I don't want Tyler Lockett. I don't.
He's got the DK connection. Bro, how many old fuckers are we going to get for this season?
Bro,
let's stop.
we didn't even keep Robert Woods. Robert Woods didn't even want to be here no more because he didn't want to be on the practice squad spot.
Where's he at now?
He's available. He's willing to sign with the team as long as a 53-man roster spot is basically
He might as well
guaranteed.
retire.
He might as well.
He might as well retire,
He
bro.
might as well. Like, the Steelers aren't even that desperate to even have him on the 53-man roster.
Yeah. You know, we already brought him up. Let's just talk about him a little bit. I did want to move on from him because he's not a Steeler no more, but you also look at what he's doing in Dallas. George Pickens. If you're shocked that George Pickens is sprouting better in Dallas than he did in Pittsburgh, you clearly weren't looking at Pickens' talent close enough. Everybody knew how talented George Pickens was. Everybody knew how underutilized George Pickens was. Everybody knew the quarterback play he had to go through and the coaching and the scheming he was put under. It didn't do him justice. Thus, his attitude was never going to change. It was never going to change. His frustrations were understandable. His attitude was never going to change, which is exactly why the Steelers traded him, which is why, unfortunately, Pickens was just never going to work in Pittsburgh. It never was. Now, could they have kept him to see how he would have paired with A-Rod, to see how he would have paired with DK? I think they could have. They could have kept him up until the season. And then if you want to trade him near the deadline, whatever, feel free. You might have gotten the same amount of capital, if not more, for him, if you would have just kept him. If you kept him long enough, maybe it was worth it to keep him just a little longer, just to see how he'd pair with the new offensive regime, with DK, with A-Rod, to see how it would have worked out. Because at that point, you wouldn't need a receiver, or if his antics were still bugging you, you could have traded him at the deadline for probably just as much as you did back in, June, May, whatever you trade him. Ultimately, though, it was never going to work out. It never was, because the scheme never suited Pickens. It never did. We didn't have the scheme. We didn't have the coaching to keep him happy. We didn't. And I think that's a fault for the Steelers. If you got a talent like Pickens and you can't scheme him the ball constantly to effectively get a consistent, game plan for him, or get the ball to him consistently to get something going on offense at a successful rate, I think that's a blame on coaching. I think that's a blame on the scheme itself. We didn't have that for Pickens. Thus, yeah, Pickens' frustration was warranted, but his attitude was his biggest issue. His attitude and his effort. It was never a lack of talent. Everybody knew the guy's talent. It was just a lack of effort that he brought to the table. He would never put in 110%. Never. And the Steelers, their mindset was, then why are you here? If you're not going to put in effort 110% every time, why are you here? Thus, they trade him. It was just never going to work out, which is a fault on Pickens' side because he was just so immature, and that's never going to change. I don't care how old he gets. He could be 50 years old. He's never going to change his attitude. He's never going to change his maturity. That's a fault on him, but it is equal, if not more, a part or a fault for the Steelers. Because how do you got a guy like him and you didn't scheme him the football? You see what he's doing in Dallas. To no one's shock. And if you're shocked again, you weren't looking at him close enough. The Steelers, they had a number one in Pickens. Because deep down, I think Pickens can be a one anywhere. He proved it when CD was out. Pickens is a one, and he's benefiting just as much as a two. You had him as a one, and you just couldn't make him happy. You couldn't keep him happy. You couldn't give him the ball. But again, at the same time, Pickens, it was never going to work out because of his effort and his attitude. It sucks. It was just one of those things where it was never a match made in heaven. It could have been if one thing was better than the other. It just wasn't going to work. And I hate that because we all know how good he is. And if one thing would have changed, if one party would have done better themselves, DK and Pickens would have been a reality. But it's not. It's not. It was for 2 weeks. And we didn't get to see them even wear the helmets together.
No. It's a fault on both parties. I mean, Pickens, he wasn't a professional. He wasn't mature. I mean, if you recall his interviews with the Pittsburgh media, I mean, like, he just did not want to be there. He did not want to answer the questions, or just the questions that he answered were just short answers. It was just like, yeah, nah, no, stuff like that. He was not professional. And yes, the Steelers did not involve him as much as they should have. And that's a fault on the scheme because I still question the scheme. I'm still not confident in the scheme. I still feel that we don't even get Metcalf involved as more as we should.
Yeah, there's no reason he shouldn't see at least 10 targets a game. Let's be honest.
He's had at most 5 catches in a game.
Yeah.
He's not had more than that yet.
Believe me, he's
still could.
He's made the most out of him.
He's made the most. His yak ability is outstanding. He's getting the touchdown. He's being targeted. That's fine. He's still being utilized. I don't feel like he's being utilized or involved as much as he could be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not like what Pickens is with Dallas. Dallas knew what they were getting out of Pickens from a talent standpoint. And Dak knew exactly what he was getting out of Pickens. I mean, Dak can still sling that football. Dak is playing good football for the Cowboys. And you got a talent like Pickens, all you got to do is sling it his way, and Pickens is going to come down with it 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Pickens did not have that type of quarterback in Pittsburgh. He had Kenny Pickett. Actually, as a matter of fact, the best that Pickens looked was with Mason Rudolph, if you remember that stretch.
Of course.
Versus the Bengals versus the Seahawks. Wow. That was the best Pickens looked.
Give him an actual quarterback. Wow, right?
Give him a gunslinger of a quarterback, and Pickens can just be George Pickens. That was the best Pickens looked. Yeah, he had Russell Wilson with the moon balls, but like that was a one-trick pony. Once teams figured that out, Pickens wasn't able to do shit.
Nope. But I do agree with what the live chat was saying too. Is the Steelers are never going to pay Pickens. Too risky.
Probably not.
Says
Probably
Michael
not.
Galbraith. Did I say that right in the chat? Yeah, he says Steelers are never going to pay Pickens. Too risky. No, they weren't. Which is another reason why they traded him. They were never going to pay him.
So they felt the third was enough. As a matter of fact, I think I read when the report first came out, the Dallas initially offered a 4th come draft night.
Yep.
Steelers thought that was too low, and Dallas was. They felt really needy to get another receiver because they didn't have a number 2 at that point. At least they feel they didn't. So they said, you know what, we'll cough up a 3rd.
You couldn't do that 2 weeks before?
No. I guess Khan
used that to draft a receiver.
I guess Khan didn't feel aggressive enough at that point. Why, I don't know.
Jim, I swear to God, man, the Cowboys and
I know Jerry would have done it.
why didn't he then?
At that point, I don't know. I don't know. It again.
What it comes down to is
it falls on both parties.
it does. What it comes down to is Pickens was immature. He didn't put in enough effort, and the Steelers didn't give him the ball enough. And then you add in the fact he was in a contract year. I agree with what the chat says. They were never going to pay him. They were going to have to pay him as much or as equal as what they're paying DK, which they could have afforded. It's just, like I mentioned, it was never going to match well. It was just never going to work out. Thus, parting ways was best for both parties because the Steelers got a 3rd, and I don't know where that's going to go, and I can only pray that we get the best out of it to make up for this. But the Steelers saved so much draft capital, and hopefully they make a move to finally get that guy. But it's definitely helping Pickens, as you see what he's doing in Dallas. It is.
Yeah.
But it also comes down to it was just bad timing. It was bad. I never had an issue trading Pickens because of his, low effort, immature reasons, and, his leadership skills, which were very little. I had no issue with trading Pickens. From the time that it was announced, that it was posted that he was traded to Dallas, the main issue I had with it was, why now? Why here? Why after the draft? Why when we don't have someone to lean on? That was the biggest issue. And I pray to God that at some point we can finally put all this wide receiver speculation and trade rumors aside because we can finally get someone.
Yeah, because it has to come to an end. Even when the Steelers traded for Mike Williams, I'm like, this is not the solution.
No.
This is just a guy that they traded for because they've been looking for one and they know that they need one. They said, you know what, fine, we'll cough up a 5th to the Jets for Mike Williams and we'll call it a trade. And we'll see what he can do. Only for the Steelers to not utilize him, though Mike Williams was never going to be the fix. They still didn't utilize the guy.
Yeah.
This time around, they got to trade for a legitimate, bona fide wide receiver 2 and use that man. Get that man involved.
Yeah, let's not go get like a Tyler Lockett like Billy Maher said. Let's not go get some scrub.
Let's not trade for Alan Lazard because he played with A-Rod. No. That's the one guy you don't do. The Jets are open to trading everybody. Apparently, Alan Lazard is one of them.
Everybody.
Apparently.
Did you say everybody?
Yes.
Does that everybody include number 5 on the offense? Please.
That might be a bit of a stretch, but
You said everybody. Phrasing is very important.
The Jets ain't trading Garrett Wilson, though they probably should. They're 0-6.
They're gonna be 0-7.
They're actually not saying who their starting quarterback's going to be yet.
Really?
Versus the Bengals. Aaron Glenn said that he knows who the starting quarterback's going to be, but he's not telling anybody because he don't want to.
It's Tyrod. It's gonna be Tyrod. How old is Tyrod Taylor?
He's been in the league over 10 years now, right?
He's 36 years old.
Justin Fields got benched for him?
Justin Fields got benched for a 36-year-old backup.
Oh, wow. That's just how bad the Jets are, bro. That's how bad they are.
Well, Garrett Wilson signed the contract, so I guess he's just gonna have to stay there, bro. Just putting it out there.
Yeah.
I want Garrett Wilson, but yeah, he signed the contract. I mean, he knew what he was getting into. So I guess when you sign a second contract, a big money contract with the franchise, you kind of just stationary. You kind of just comfortable or complacent where you're at. So by default, you gotta stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Does he eventually get traded? Yes, I do believe that. I do believe the Jets eventually trade Garrett Wilson, but I don't think it's gonna be this year or next year.
You think Aaron Glenn actually pulls that trigger?
I don't think Aaron Glenn's going to have enough time to make the decision. I'll be very shocked if he makes it past this year as head coach.
Knowing the Jets, their reputation and their owner, because he's an idiot, I wouldn't be surprised.
Bro. Hugh Jackson. Remember Hugh Jackson?
Of course I do.
I
get 16.
I get the exact same vibes with Aaron Glenn.
Damn, really?
What's Hugh Jackson got? Like 2 wins as a head coach?
3.
How many
I'm
wins?
trying to make him feel good.
I'm talking about Browns head coach.
Yeah, Hugh Jackson, yes.
As Browns head coach, he had only 3 wins.
That was right. That's it.
3 victories. He was there for 3 years, 2.5 years.
2.5.
How the hell did he make it out of an 0-16 season?
Because the Browns are, I don't know.
How did
the Browns are the Browns?
All I'm gonna say is if the Jets keep Aaron Glenn after this season, they just, I don't know, they just hate themselves or something. Like same thing with the Dolphins. How is Mike McDaniel still a head coach? How is he not fired? Look what the Browns did.
That I don't get. Mike McDaniel, that's the one. That's somebody that's got to get fired.
I'll tell you right now.
He's got to go.
If he makes it past that Thursday night game versus the Ravens,
I don't know why that's Thursday Night Football.
I don't know either. But if he makes it past that Thursday night game, I don't know. I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's crazy. It's a crazy season thus far, folks.
Yeah.
It's a crazy season. We got Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers still slinging it. We got the Dolphins and the Jets still keeping their head coaches.
2 of the worst teams in the NFL.
2 of the worst organizations in the entire league.
Yeah, really.
Like there's a reason they haven't succeeded in so long. Like ownership is so bad. It really comes down to ownership, man.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Commanders. They finally got him out of there. They got the new cat in there, and the Commanders are kind of struggling right now, and Jane Daniels is hurt. But I mean, even still, their organization took a whole what's the phrase? Took a whole circle round to get back to where they used to be.
I know what you mean. I mean, they made it to the NFC Championship game. Like that's something.
Was it a whole 180 or something?
That's what it is. Right? That's what it is.
Goes bet on himself and lost. Yeah. The Steelers offered him $20 million guaranteed. The Jets offered $30 million. He's like, hey, I'm gonna go take the extra $10 million. We went 4-2 with Justin Fields, man.
And Fields didn't look half bad as a Steeler.
He didn't look half bad. He did good versus the Colts. He did good versus
the Chargers.
The Chargers. He was all right versus the Cowboys. However, he wasn't really a reason for any of the victories. He did good versus the Raiders. He wasn't really a big reason for any of the victories. It was mostly off the back of the defense. And I got to give coaching credit because I think that might be the best winning streak anyone's ever gotten out of Justin Fields. So props to the coaching on that. But it was really a lot of the backbone of the defense at the time.
Yeah, defense was on point throughout that span.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Top 3 teams with the fewest yards in the first 7 games last 5 years is the 2021 and 2022 Bears and the 2025 Jets, all led by Fields. That's awful.
Yeah, that's a horrible resume.
That is awful.
That's not good. And doesn't he have like a losing record? Is he like 0-36 when it comes to trailing? I read a stat like that. It's something along the lines like that. Some form of a stat like that. Like he's winless when it comes to like trailing.
Is it really that much?
I thought I read something like that.
Well, hold on, time out. How many times were they even up? You know?
I don't know. I can't remember the exact stat. I can't. Not this very moment. Maybe the chat knows.
Either way, yeah. Fields, this was his last chance to prove that he could be a starter, and this is the biggest failure of them all.
Yeah, Digital Dust was 0-25 versus teams that scored 21 or more points.
He just don't got that dog in him, bro. He don't. You know, I always say, like, with certain quarterbacks, you could tell they just have that in them. Like, mentally, they have it where they can rally a team. They can destroy a defense. They can outsmart a football team. They can rally the troops when behind, right? Like Bo Nix. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of Bo Nix. I'm not. I'm not entirely sold on him. He had a better rookie year than I imagined, but being completely non-existent for the first 3 quarters and then waking up in the 4th quarter reminds me a lot of Kenny. But I'll give it to Bo Nix. He can rally the troops. He's got some resistance to him. He's very resilient. He's a resilient quarterback. He's got a lot of fight in him. He's got good leadership skills.
Yeah.
So I got to give that to Bo Nix. By the way, that game last week was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was wild. Wild freaking 4th quarter.
Penix out Cousins in versus the Dolphins. When did Michael Penix get hurt?
What? Wait. For real? According to Diggs. Diggs in the chat. Really?
I'm not seeing any of that. Like, anywhere.
No. I just searched him up. It doesn't say anything about that. Falcons are listing Michael Penix as questionable for Sunday versus the Dolphins.
He'll play. He'll play. If he doesn't play, then the Dolphins are still going to lose.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is going to dice up that defense.
Is that who the Dolphins? Is that really who the Dolphins?
Yes, Dolphins face Falcons.
Oh, they're gonna lose. Oh god, Bijan's gonna go off. Take every over for Bijan.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Unchained. Our day was good, man. Our day was really good. How was your day? How was your guys' Friday, man? It's actually Saturday over here.
Yeah, Saturday morning, guys.
Hope you guys had a great week. Hope you guys enjoyed the mini bye. We do apologize for the lack of content. It's just been one hectic week. Been a hectic week, but I'm glad the week's over. We finally have the weekend here. I love the weekend. Football weekend. Are the Colts legit? I don't know. I can't put a lot of faith in a Daniel Jones-led team. Okay.
But he's been consistent.
Let's put it this way. Daniel Jones is just the Sam Darnold of last year. And he backed up Sam Darnold with the Vikings in the second half of the season last year. Is it Kevin?
Yeah, but you look at Sam Darnold for the Seahawks, what he's done.
I think Kevin O'Connell is just a wizard.
And O'Connell actually got the best out of Kirk Cousins. That's why he got that money from Atlanta.
These are 2 first-round bums who aren't bums anymore.
No,
like I don't know. I don't know what Kevin O'Connell like laced in their arms or something. But he did something to get these guys where they're at. I mean, coaching absolutely matters. Coaching is everything, and I literally mean everything in the NFL. Without coaching, you're nothing. I always say you're only as good as coaching.
Yep.
Look at Baker Mayfield. Look at Sam Darnold. Daniel Flippin' Jones.
And now you have Daniel Jones paired with Shane Steichen.
You can look at Justin Fields from last year. We went 4-2 with that dude. You're only as good as coaching. Coaching absolutely matters, bro. The Panthers had Darnold and Baker in the same room, and they still didn't get their guy.
Now, Baker said himself, like, we don't reminisce about the Panther days.
No.
And then Baker stops by in Los Angeles with the Rams, helps them get a big victory on a short week when he was just there for 2 days. That's all it took for Baker to regain that confidence.
Yeah, and then the Buccaneers gave him one of the greatest one-year prove-it deals, and now he's the franchise. And if you can somehow lead him to the ring, remember that 100-year anniversary commercial the NFL put on where Tom Brady was sitting next to Baker, and he's like,
"Yeah,
here,
get out there, old man."
He's like, "Here, hold these." We didn't know that he was literally passing the Bucs torch to him.
We literally had no idea.
Crazy, right?
Just looking
Crazy.
back at it, it's like, it's crazy how the universe makes that stuff happen.
My day was chill. Warriors ruined my night. They are 2-1. This is the last NBA game I will watch.
Did they play that bad?
I guess I didn't catch it. I'm very, very pissed that KD sold my parlay. It's the only leg that failed for me. It's KD. I needed 9 rebounds and assists. I think he only got 4. I'm never betting on KD again, bro. Never. He might have been one of the greatest scorers in his prime. I am never. He's on the ban list for life. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about betting on the NBA. I guess that's kind of the FBI is gonna be breaking my door down.
Yeah,
Do you know something? Do you know something?
Slow down.
Were you with Terry Rozier? Are you in LeBron's circle? I wish. Are you kidding me? I flipping wish.
Sure.
Yeah.
You want the FBI to be breaking down our door?
No, I don't.
No.
No, I don't.
What a wild situation that is, though.
That doesn't surprise me. The NBA's always been about rigging. Remember when
dating back to the official.
Yeah, remember that
What's
ref?
his name?
I forget his name, but he got arrested because of it.
Yeah.
He was rigging, like they had a whole circle with players and referees, and he was rigging games. Garbage calls saying, "Hey, take this team, put this much on this team because I got you. I'm the official." That was going back as the 2000s.
Yep.
And then now this whole gambling circle with the FBI and everything, Patel's getting all them, and it's funny how this investigation started 4 years ago, and now they're finally cracking down on everything. And this is going to be a domino effect. Like, who's next? Who's next involved, right?
How what's his name? Shaq. He let his feelings known. Like, he didn't hold back.
Who?
Shaq.
When was this?
On Shaq, he said, "Yo, like you put your family in jeopardy and whatnot. Like you getting paid and then you're doing this. It's like, how much money do you need?"
I didn't see that.
No, he said that. Yeah.
He said that on the thing with him and
Was it Inside
Ernie.
the NBA?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a clip that went around. I saw that
gotta
post on
watch
social
that.
media. Yeah.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah. Yeah, Shaq didn't like it.
Hell yeah, Shaq. No, seriously, these dudes are getting paid millions, and you're still like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. And by the way, if y'all seen that clip of Terry, he only played 9 minutes, and he didn't even make it look secretive. It was obvious he purposely turned the ball over. Like, he couldn't make it more obvious.
I did see that too. I did see that.
By the way, Billy, thanks for becoming an STM member. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Billy.
No, I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel.
No.
No, I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel.
I don't watch the late night shows.
I don't think I've ever watched a late night show.
I don't recall watching.
Jimmy Fallon's funny. Jimmy Fallon's funny.
I don't even recall the last time I watched an episode of his.
Yeah.
I've never seen Saturday Night Live. Ever.
Never?
Ever. Never, ever. Don't care to. I don't.
What do y'all think of the Steelers trading Skylar Thompson and a 3rd round pick to the Jets for Breece Hall?
Hey, listen, they need listen, they need a quarterback.
Do we need Breece Hall?
Well, listen, Will Howard's coming back.
I don't think we need Breece Hall.
I'm not opposed to it.
I don't think we need Breece Hall.
Swap Hall for Garrett Wilson.
If that's realistic, which is not.
It's not. It's not.
It's not. Watch, we'll trade trade like we'll trade like a 5th round pick for Alan Lazard, and we'll just, you know what, we got a receiver, we're fine, we're good here.
Don't do that.
No, we're not.
Don't do that.
Don't get Lazard, bro. Don't get Lazard. Please.
He ain't done jack this year.
If we settle for Lazard or Tyler Lockett, I'm gonna have a major conniption.
Lazard's not even he's not even a starter for the Jets.
Are we gonna even trade for anybody? That's my question. Are we even gonna trade for anybody? The deadline's next Tuesday. Not this Tuesday, next Tuesday.
This man got 40 yards.
Tuesday after this. 40 yards, bro.
6 catches, 40 yards, and that's basically a game.
He's got a touchdown though.
And
that's all the reason to trade. He got how many touchdowns does Justin Fields have?
4?
No, you're lying.
I'm not. I don't think I am.
You're lying.
I don't think I am.
You're not lying.
It's 4.
Bro, this dude got 4 touchdowns.
One of them is to Alan Lazard.
I thought Kenny Pickett was bad. Remember when Kenny Pickett, bro, he only had like 13 touchdowns and 2 years as a Steeler or whatever the hell it was. Got 4 touchdowns in 8 games, almost 8 games.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh my God. That is awful. I mean, you got Garrett Wilson as your receiver. Wow. I don't believe that.
Just a mess. Just a mess. But what do you expect from the Jets?
That was our week 1 starter last year, man.
Yeah, it was, and he did good with us. He did.
I am willing to admit, yeah, I wanted him back. I did.
He took a chance on himself, and obviously it hasn't paid off.
I'm willing to admit I wanted him back, and I wasn't a big fan of getting A-Rod, and I'm looking like the biggest fool. I was wrong.
Well, not many people wanted A-Rod. I didn't. You didn't. Not many people did.
It was mostly because of what the media was saying. Oh, he's a bad teammate. He's an egomaniac. He doesn't get along with the coaches. Obviously, none of that is true.
Bro, every time a touchdown happens or a big play happens, Broderick's the first one to greet A-Rod.
Yeah.
Not exactly tackle the guy, but like
Oh,
there's chemistry between Brody and A-Rod.
Rodgers is going to tackle him back. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
DK's going to score. That's my prediction. I don't know if we win, but my prediction come Sunday is we're going to score a touchdown. DK's going to score a touchdown, and A-Rod's going to tackle Broderick.
That'd be great to see.
Guarantee you.
That would be great to see.
All I can say is I hope Broderick gives him the same energy.
Want to tell him to get the fuck off me?
Yes. Oh, man. That's funny. I'm just saying, man. I think that'd be great. Are there any predictions for Sunday you guys have? Is there any predictions that y'all got? I predict TJ Watt gets a sack. I predict DK gets a touchdown because I think the matchup is favorable. And Aaron Rodgers is definitely going to throw at least 1 touchdown. If I had to give you my final prediction, you know what? I'll give you a bold prediction. Darnell scores 2 touchdowns.
He scored 1 last week. Matter of fact, all the touchdowns came from tight ends.
Yes.
Versus the
All
Bengals.
4 tight ends came against tight ends last week.
I don't know. Do I have any bold predictions at the moment?
Actually, the last 5 touchdown passes he's had has been to tight ends.
Yeah.
All 4 of them.
Yeah.
Connor Hayward, Jonnu Smith, Pat Frymuth,
Twice.
and Darnell Washington.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers' last 5 touchdown passes have been to all 4 tight ends. How amazing is that? I think that's pretty cool, actually. Just get him involved more. Get him up the field. By the way, the update on the poll. Are the 1933 throwbacks fire or trash? 66% say they are fire. I like them. I don't know about y'all. I like them. Would I have alternated them a little bit? Yes, I would have. I would have went with the black helmet instead of the gold and the gray face mask. I would have saved that for the color rush. I would have done exactly what they did, except maybe have the lines a little longer. They're just kind of
there's that, and I know that in the 33 jerseys it's the same way, but I mean, like with this jersey, I mean it's at the very end of the jersey.
You just have that gap of gold.
It's an eyesore.
It looks
It's an eyesore. I'm sorry.
That's my biggest eye out of everything on that jersey. That's my biggest eyesore. But I would have had the black lines a little longer all the way down the length of the jersey, and I would have had the black helmets. You want to do the gold face mask? By all means, but the black helmets.
I would have kept, I'm full with the gold helmets. I just would have done the black face mask with the gold helmets to go with the black and gold vibe, since you already have the black stripe on the gold helmets.
Yeah.
Black face mask and just keep everything the same.
I wish we could have had the gold helmets with the color rush. Would have been sick. Yeah, I agree, Diggs. Absolutely. the fact that the Packers are going to be wearing the all whites, I hope that gives the Steelers inspiration sometime to pull out their all whites that they wore in the 70s. I don't know how many times they wore. Maybe once, twice, maybe. They had an all white, jersey. Black helmet, gray face mask. Old school, right? But it was all white. White pants, white jersey. It looked cool. It looked really cool. Can we get that back? Like, I want to see that back. Like, I don't know when's the next time they're going to announce a new jersey or a jersey throwback or a revamp or whatever. Because, I mean, you think about it, there's only a few left that they can do. They've done the Bumblebees and they retired them. They do the throwbacks. They do the color rush every year. They have these now. I don't know how often that's going to be. They still have the Batman ones to do and the all-white 70s. I think that's literally it. I think those are the only two they haven't used in a long time.
Yeah.
In fact, they only wore the Batman ones in what, 66, 67?
Yeah, it was like a one-time thing.
Yeah, and they haven't brought them back. I'm sure they're going to bring them back at some point. Maybe they won't.
I would. I think they're cool.
I think they're kind of cool.
I think they're badass.
But I would have totally done the all whites. I think that's something they could definitely do. I don't know when or how they do it. Maybe it's, one of those must-see playoff games or divisional matchups. I don't know. Maybe the Ravens do like their old throwbacks with the old school logos. Maybe the Steelers throw in the all whites. That's just me fantasy thinking years down the line.
Or if there's a game they want to bring the all whites back, it could be against the Browns.
Yeah. I
Kind of go with the old school aspect, the old school traditional Steelers Browns rivalry back in the day and whatnot. Just bring back the all whites versus the Browns. I wouldn't mind that.
I don't know if they're ever going to do it, but they're definitely going to wear the 1933 throwbacks. That is confirmed. That is already stitched, printed, labeled, stamped, and going to be the uniform, the gear for this upcoming Sunday night versus the Green Bay Packers. It'll be the 1933 throwbacks versus the Packers all whites, which will be an interesting uni matchup, but the game is definitely going to be must-see. First of all, it's primetime. It's under the lights. It's in Heinz Field. It's Steelers-Packers. We're talking two of the greatest franchises in NFL history.
Storied franchises.
Historic franchises. We're talking about the team, the coach that is named after the Lombardi. And then we're talking about the team that was the first to get 6. I know it's been a while since we've gotten back, or even gotten one. I don't know when's the next time we're going to, but these are two historic franchises that just know championship football.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Aaron Rodgers versus his former team for the first time since being traded, since departing from Green Bay. It's going to be an interesting football game, not only as a Steelers fan, but overall, generally as a football fan, and I can't wait. It's just one of those things you just have to see.
High stakes, high drama, must see primetime football, dude.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The Packers have a little bit of luck on their side. They're undefeated and they're all whites, but the Steelers got history on their side. Green Bay hasn't won in Pittsburgh since 1970. We're going to need that history to remain very strong on our side.
And we're going to need this team to rebound because they desperately need to.
Agreed.
They can't afford to be taking losses now because it doesn't get any easier. They're still first place in the division. They still got a hold on that, but they got to continue to keep a hold of the first place prize.
Yeah,
the division.
They can't be taking losses and allowing the Bengals or, God forbid, the Ravens, who have a cupcake schedule in the second half of their season. We can't allow them to come back.
No way.
They could have had a 3.5 game lead. Now they're 2.5, and they could. I don't want to say they're going to choke it, but I wouldn't be surprised. Either way, we can't get anywhere close to that. So just get a win. At the end of the day, come Sunday night, come Sunday evening, in the Monday morning, I would hope that we can go to bed resting, knowing that the Steelers are going to get a victory and they can advance to 5-2, not 4-3. Not 4-3.
No, 5-2 sounds much more better.
It does. Because you consider we got the Packers, the Colts, the Chargers, then the Bengals, then the Bears in Soldier Field, then the Bills, then the Ravens, then the Dolphins, then the Lions, then the Browns, and the Ravens. Oh, my God.
Again, it doesn't get any easier.
No, it doesn't. No,
a lot of
no, it
challenging
doesn't.
teams right there, especially early on. And then that late stretch, man, like that's where the real Steelers are going to be tested. December football.
Get it cleaned up. That's all I can say is y'all got to get it cleaned up. Get it cleaned up and get a victory. Steelers need to give Parsons the Myles Garrett treatment using the tight ends to double and chip them in every play. Agreed. We said the same thing, man. I'm glad we're thinking the same game plan. Darnell, in my opinion, is my number one key to victory. Darnell and his usage, he is going to allow A-Rod to have time in the pocket, to do what he's got to do to dice up that secondary. Because that's the favorable matchup for the Steelers offense, is A-Rod versus that secondary. You got to give him time. The way you do that is you insert Darnell as that extra six man, that extension of the line. I agree. Use the tight ends, use the running backs, chip them. You got to stop Parsons. You got to stop Gary. And then maybe this offense can have a repeat of last week. Let's just hope the defense bounces back and has a stronger performance. Maybe gets a turnover or two. Definitely gets to the quarterback more than twice. There's no way we shouldn't. Not with the talent we have.
No.
Not even lying to you guys. There's a chance the Chiefs go 0-5 in their next 5. There's no chance in hell. No chance. The NFL will not allow that. They would never allow that.
The Chiefs going on a 5-game lose streak, there's no way. There's no way. Commanders, no, because Marcus Mariota is going to pull off the upset Monday night.
The Bills?
The Bills have always had their number in the regular season, not the postseason. So, yeah, maybe. Then they have the Broncos. I mean, that could go either way, divisional matchup. And you got the Colts.
Oh, God.
Danny Dimes, bro, you better be on your A game, and then the Dallas Cowboys, which is Thanksgiving.
Well, I'll tell you what, that defense isn't as good as they used to be. So I don't know, man.
You're not down with that?
I just don't think the NFL is gonna allow it.
Got 2 words for you.
Honestly, more worried about Slants than Parsons. You know what? That's a fair fear. No, Daniels is out, my boy.
No, Daniels is out. He's hurt.
I'm a fan. I am an owner of him in fantasy. I know.
I'm sorry.
I got CJ Stroud.
Oh, wow. There's nobody else better.
No.
Really?
No. Maybe I pick up Joe Flacco.
Is Tyrod Taylor available?
No. I'm not doing that.
Dude, you never know, bro.
I'll go with CJ Stroud.
All right.
All right. With that being said, folks, it is 33 after midnight over here. It is Saturday morning, so
yep.
Good morning. But also good night. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. We appreciate y'all for tuning in on the Twitter and X side as always, simultaneously. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us late on this Friday night. We will see you Sunday night for more Stressful Steelers football. Another late night, which I don't know if it's going to result in anything better than what we saw last Thursday night, but let's hope that regardless, however it goes, no matter how the game's going to turn out, we walk away out of Heinz Field with a dub. That's the mission. That is the statement. That is the obstacle at hand. That is our test on Sunday is no matter what, get a victory. It's the Packers, A-Rod versus his former team, must-see TV. Steelers wearing their 33 throwbacks. I can't wait. I'm still sour off of that loss, but I'm still very excited for this Sunday. Let's hope the Steelers don't ruin that excitement for me a little bit. Either way, I'm excited. We'll see you on Sunday night. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you on Sunday for more Stressful Steelers football, man. Appreciate y'all. Hit that like, hit that subscribe on the way out if you guys haven't already. Thank y'all so much. Here we go, Steelers. Mike Tomlin, don't pull some bullshit. I want to win on Sunday. See you in the next one.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!